Let's go to this chat now as South Africa faces a growing surge in counterfeit and illicit alcohol. A recent study by Euromonitor International and in collaboration with the Drinks Federation South Africa has revealed that the illegal alcohol market is now worth over 20 billion rand, making up approximately 22% of the country's total alcohol industry. This concerning trend does not only impact the economy, but also presents serious health risks to consumers. So how can you be sure that you are drinking genuine and safe alcohol? To unpack this issue further, we are joined by the CEO of the Drinks Federation South Africa, Angela Russell. Angela, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. 20 billion rand, 22% of the alcohol industry, that is a huge figure. What does this tell us?
So we've actually updated this, and yesterday we launched the Euromonitor International study on the illicit market in South Africa. And this has been done 2017, 2020, and now we did it for 2024 numbers. And this number has actually increased to 25 billion. It is 18% of the market currently, but we have also seen the legal alcohol market growing. But I think what is concerning for us is that we have seen a 55% increase in the volume of illicit alcohol since 2017, and also the value of this has increased by 95% since that same period, and the fiscal loss, alarmingly, is increased by 157%. So now we are losing about 16.5 billion rand to the fiscus due to illicit alcohol. And if you think of that VAT increase that they were proposing, to try and cover a gap of about 58 billion rand, this 16.5 billion could have gone a long way in actually assisting the fiscus.
Yeah, but where would the people that are behind these counterfeit and illegal alcohol be getting the material from to actually produce this alcohol?
So, what we have seen is, previously in 2020, we saw that the majority of illicit alcohol was as a result of smuggling product or, smuggling product into the country. What we are seeing is now the trend is turning, and this is, as you're saying, is now going into the counterfeit alcohol. So about 31% of all illicit alcohol is now counterfeit, which is concerning because of the health implications, as a result of it. So one of the areas that we need to ensure that we're tightening up on is the control of ethanol. So ethanol is a part of the alcohol manufacturing process. And what we're finding happening is that, from a manufacturing point of view, once the ethanol is actually passed on to third-party distributors and third parties for sale, sometimes what you are seeing happening is this is where the area is going, where the ethanol is then falling off the truck, if you want to call it that, or it is, due to is actually getting into this illicit market. So there's an area that we really need to focus on tighter control of ethanol from a third-party point of view to try and halt this diversion of ethanol into this counterfeit alcohol syndicates that are working out there.
Yeah. When was it? In March, actually, there was a raid that took place in Western area. We're just showing visuals now of that raid in the Western area being led by Tommy Mtombeni, the Provincial Police Commissioner. From the research that you have done and the information at your disposal, is it known how quickly that particular aspect of having factories that are actually manufacturing this alcohol, how quickly that is growing, and what should be done to clamp that down?
So absolutely, there is definitely, as you can see by the increase in the amount of counterfeit alcohol, there are increasing numbers of illicit factories that are popping up. These are becoming quite sophisticated, and absolutely, there's a lot of work that is being done to try and stop and give punitive measures to these people. Something that I do want to raise, however, that is quite alarming and different from what we have done in previous research is we've actually also taken into consideration consumer insights. And in this research, we surveyed 707 people. It was an online survey. And I think, what was concerning was 67% of those who were surveyed said that they would buy illicit products because they want lower prices, regardless of the product, where this product comes from. But I think something that is concerning for us is that 49% of these people personally knew someone who had been harmed by illicit alcohol, and 29% of people personally knew someone who had died. So we can see that this is becoming, infiltrated into our marketplaces. It is made with products that are harmful and toxic to human consumption. And people, are know people who have, had harm from this or have died, but still would continue to buy this because of the price differential. And we know that the price differential between licit and illicit alcohol ranges between 44 to about 37%.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask the team now to quickly bring up the poll that we're running this morning. So we're asking our viewers, have you or someone you know ever come across a counterfeit or illicit alcohol? And from the preliminary results that we have so far, is 74% of our respondents are saying, yes, it's now common. This for me is disturbing. Again, what needs to be done?
So I think, what we need to do is there needs to be collective action, coordinated action. And I'm pleased to yesterday find out that there is going to be a re-emergence of the Customs Fraud and Illegal Imports Task Team at NEDLAC. And I think this is very good in that you're going to have government, industry, community stakeholders coming together to discuss this. I think a lot of what the findings we have, we're starting to have discussions with all of the relevant parties. It definitely needs a coordinated effort. I think we also need to, like I said previously, have tighter controls on the ethanol to help the diversion. But I think as well, one of the key things for us is the punitive measures when people are caught manufacturing as well as selling illicit alcohol is quite inconsequential. They pay a fine, whether it be 1,000 Rand, 5,000 Rand, and they come back into circuit, into this lucrative market. So I think a lot of coordinated work has to happen, and I am pleased to see that the government is taking this seriously with the reintroduction of this illicit task force, which will not only be for alcohol, but will be also things for tobacco. And, importantly for us is that we need to control this. So at the moment, we are sitting at 18% of the market. In Africa, the average is 40%. We've seen, for example, in Mozambique, illicit accounts for 73% of the market. Uganda, 69% of the market. And we know, for example, that the tobacco market, the illicit tobacco market, is over 60%. So it is now larger than the legal tobacco market. And this is something that we need to ensure does not happen from an alcohol point of view.
Yeah. Then let's speak about consumers and consumer awareness. Again, just quickly bring up the poll once again, because one of the questions that we ask is in relation to whether or not the person is able to pick up whether the alcohol is genuine or counterfeit. So 5% saying they're not sure. It is hard to tell. How then do we teach consumers around how to pick up whether the alcohol that they're having is illicit or counterfeit or not? And also, what is it that they should be looking out for?
So, what we generally tell consumers, and we are going to start another awareness campaign around this. I think it's very important. But the factors that the people need to look for, especially when they're purchasing product, because this product is not only available in the informal market anymore, it's also available in the formal market. So what we advise is, look at the bottle from the top, look at the cap. Is the cap printing good? Is it adequately sealed? If you move down into the actual bottle itself, look at the quality of the liquids that's in the bottle. Is it hazy? Is it diluted? Often we see black particles and strange things floating in these products that have been confiscated. Also looking at the fill level. If you're looking at product on the shelf, is the fill level consistent? Because often with counterfeit, they can't get that fill level, correct. Then you're looking at the label. Is the label stuck on properly? Is it skew? They should all be, neat in a line. They should be of good quality. The spelling should be correct on them. There should also be a back label on the product. It is becoming more difficult to tell these products apart because these, manufacturing syndicates are becoming a lot more sophisticated. But also, I think, smell the alcohol product, taste of the alcohol product, and if you are unsure, rather do not consume it.
Yeah, and technology, is there an app available that you know of perhaps that you can download and just scan the barcode or scan the product that you've just bought to see whether or not it is genuine?
So there is an app that is available through the Consumer Goods Council where you can start scanning, product to see if it is legitimate. So there is something, unfortunately, I don't have the details to give you now as to where you can get it from. But as I said, from the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa, if you go onto their website, I'm sure there's a lot more information. But I think what we are looking at as an industry is how do we make consumers more informed? So from an industry perspective, these are things that we're looking at as how do we make sure that consumers are, buying legitimate products and that they are consuming products that are manufactured with, products that are not toxic to them, and therefore that they can enjoy the product in the manner that it is supposed to be there for.
Yeah. And in conclusion, Angela, do you think that the reason that this market is so lucrative is because South Africa has fertile ground in that we have a binge drinking problem, and therefore you have consumers who would be willing to actually sometimes even buy the fake alcohol, as you indicated, because of the cost margins?
And I think what we have seen is that we actually have we do have consumers who binge drink, and I think this is something that we do realize is problematic in the country. However, in a survey that we've done, we've actually seen the majority of South Africans, over 58% of them drink in moderation. 11% of the drinking population drink very occasionally, for example, on Christmas. So, the majority of South Africans do consume alcohol responsibly. I think it is maybe a factor of the economic times that we are seeing as well. We are a country that does enjoy a drink socially. So I do think, that what you are finding is that these syndicates are coming into the fore because it is a lucrative market for them. And unfortunately, they are preying on the vulnerable populations that are out there.